announce that, but we don't know. They didn't tell us, so.
Yes.
Well, there's that. I don't know who the other one.
That is for district staff members.
I don't know who they are.
We've got four.
Non-certified. Tell me when that's, because I can't see real well.
I don't.
I've got my glasses, I should take them. I can't see with them or without. There it is, I can see a little bit now. I had to wear glasses because I got a stein eye. I can't wear my contacts.
Aw. He doesn't want to be here at the board meeting. I mean.
There's cake in the cafeteria. There's cake in the cafeteria. Yeah. Yeah. Go get some cake. Yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna say we'll walk you down.
Mhm.
That's right.
Okay, so.
Yeah. Good evening and welcome to the Martinsville Metropolitan School District and Martinsville School Board meeting. We thank you for being here in person or virtually. I'm Matt Hankins, President of the Board. To my left is Heather Staggs, Vice President, Luke Jackson, Secretary, Dan Conway, Board Member, and Jackie Decker, Board Member. To my right is Superintendent Eric Boland and Assistant to the Superintendent, Mrs. Susie Lips. If you all would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Today, we have the student recognitions, and I would ask that Mr. Jeff Bell would come up and give those.
Good evening here tonight. One young man that can't be here, our salutatorian, Alexander Cush, playing baseball tonight. Perry Meridian, I believe. Couldn't be here, but I want to say he and Crimson gave great speeches the other day to John R. Wooden All-A Honor Roll breakfast. Just their speeches weren't good; they were great. And if we weren't such a formal location, I'd be yelling great. But they did a wonderful job. Alexander's not here, but I want to brag on his speech, what he touched on to the young people and all of us about, yeah, it's about academics and things like that, but get involved in things and live life, the relationships, the people, things like that. So he gave just a wonderful speech. The next young lady I introduced, and she can come tell you a little bit about herself, valedictorian Crimson Hickman, gave a wonderful speech, and in no notes, it just registered. She talked about overcoming obstacles and failure. You know, we're all going to fall down, but what do we want to do? We want to get back up and get after it. She talked about some of her personal experiences as motivation to the young people there. So Crimson, why don't you come on up? Crimson Hickman is our valedictorian.
Hi, I'm
Crimson Hickman. Next year in the fall, I will be going to DePaul University to study biology while on a pre-med track.
Tell them a little bit about your speech.
Oh, so in my speech, I was basically talking about how even when you fail, you can still overcome it a little. Or did you mean my graduation speech?
Well, they won the other day.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was just making sure I was talking about the right speech. And how even when you fail, you can still be successful, because I know throughout my high school experience, I've had some failures throughout the way, but I'm still valedictorian, so obviously it didn't stop me too much. And I thought that was a very good thing for a group of all A honor roll students to hear, because I wish I had known that before I got into high school, because it was really a shock when things were harder, and I did have a couple failures when I'd never experienced that before in middle school.
Very blessed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. Staggs for staff recognition.
Tonight, it's an honor and a privilege to recognize an individual who has been a part of our school community, gymnastics specifically, since 1977. Coach Larry Sachs started in 1977 at the local YMCA, and he started with young people learning the tricks and trades of how to turn and twist and move in ways that nobody had been taught before. In 1982 through 1993, Larry started a training academy here in Martinsville above Super Sports. So Gymnastics Express became the local place for young individuals to come train and understand a little bit more about the sport. In 1985, Martinsville was a part of a season that goes down in the record books as the best ever. Helping guide that, push it in that direction, Larry Sachs had his thumbprint a part of that. His daughters Judy and Jill were a part of that state team that finished third at Perry Meridian High School. They won the sectional that year and ended up winning the regional a little bit later during that year. In 1986, again, Judy and Jill, along with teammates, were sectional champions and then were regional champions. And then Larry continued that thumbprint throughout the next several years. In the 90s, he became an assistant coach with his daughter, Judy Sachs, and then with Holly Brummett. And as an assistant coach with the high school team, records were broken. Amy McQueen specifically at that time was the best in the all-around, and other individual records were broken. And then at some point in the late 90s, Don Lips, the acting athletic director at the time, went to Larry and said, "We need a head coach." And so since 1998, Larry has been the head coach of Martinsville High School Gymnastics. Not only has Larry been an inspiration to a lot of young people, but he's been an icon in the gymnastics community, specifically Central Indiana. The last 5 years, the Artesians have had an individual in the state finals, and his 2021 team finished 9th at Ball State University at Worthern Arena. For 47 years, Larry Sachs has impacted young people, specifically with gymnastics, in our community. Thank you, Coach. Thank you. Our kids are better because of his influence and because of his impact with our young people. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, everybody.
Mrs. Lips.
Tonight, we also have the honor and pleasure of recognizing the Metropolitan School District of Martinsville employees who were selected by all the other Martinsville employees throughout the district as the outstanding staff members for 2023-2024. Only 4 staff members were chosen and are being honored for their outstanding service and dedication to the MSD of Martinsville tonight. If those people would please come forward when I call their names. Congratulations goes to Cheyenne Mappis, Poston Road Elementary teacher. Please stay up here for pictures. Nate Dilley, Special Education Director for the district. Amanda Fleener, Poston Road Elementary Instructional Assistant. And Ashlyn Brummett, South Elementary Instructional Assistant. When selected, all of these individuals were cited by those nominating them as going above and beyond with their duties, working tirelessly, always willing to help and listen, being passionate advocates for students, exuding amazing kindness and patience, and above all, serving as constant sources of positivity and support for all staff, students, and the MSD of Martinsville. Congratulations. They got it.
Okay, are there anyone for public comments regarding the agenda items? No. Okay, moving along. Oh, good point, thank you. Also, if you are here for anything like the special recognition and you did not want to stay for our board meeting, now would be a great time to leave.
It's a riveting meeting coming up. Go have some more cake. I'm gonna go with them.
Yeah. We all got up.
Be-
Yeah.
Next, we have the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as it is.
I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Motion carried. Oh, true. We do want to mention that we have a new basketball coach. We want to welcome J.B. Neal to Martinsville High School, to Martinsville community, and we are pleased to have him. And we appreciate, again, all the work that Coach Kip Staggs did for his tenure here at Martinsville High School, and he is going to be continuing as our athletic director.
Okay, let's move on to field trips here. First one, Martinsville High School FFA. I know that's not, let me reset. Can you hear me now? Okay, we'll move on to field trips now. Martinsville High School FFA Leadership Conference, it's an overnight, May 19th and 20th. I recommend approval.
Do I have a motion to approve the MHS FFA Leadership Conference overnight?
I'll make a motion to approve it, the MHS FFA Leadership Conference.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve the MHS FFA Leadership Conference overnight. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
The next one we have is a Intro to Aviation Curriculum Development Conference. We are starting at the high school, and I recommend approval for Ms. Blake to go to Louisville, Kentucky. It is a grant-funded PD for her. I recommend approval.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a motion to approve the Introduction to Aviation Curriculum Development Conference for Sheila Blake?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion
I'll second that.
and a second to approve the Intro to Aviation Curriculum Development Conference for Sheila Blake. Any discussion?
I think it's a really, really neat opportunity. I'm glad to see we're doing this.
Any other comments? Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the Introduction to Aviation Curriculum and Development Conference for Sheila Blake. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
The next one is the Paxton Patterson Lab Training of Ms. Fraley from John R. Wooden Middle School. It's a new hands-on program we are introducing at the middle school to allow students to explore jobs earlier than waiting till they get to the high school. So they're going to get those exposures at 7th and 8th grade. So I recommend approval for this one.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the Paxton Patterson Lab Training for Kenja Fraley?
I'll make a motion, we approve the Paxton Patterson Lab Training.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion or comments? All those in favor of the motion for Kenja Fraley to attend the Paxton Patterson Lab Training, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Mrs. Lips?
Tonight, I am introducing one of the MSD of Martinsville's community partners. Ashley Mann from Nurses Direct Connect is with us this evening. Ashley, would you stand and be recognized? Ashley is a seasoned nurse practitioner with over 8 years of experience specializing in school-based telehealth care as both a dedicated healthcare provider and the owner of Nurses Direct Connect. Ashley brings a wealth of expertise to the MSD of Martinsville as she bridges the gap between healthcare and education to support the schools, students, and families. Nurses Direct Connect staff serve as consultants in the school clinics. So Mrs. Laura Dilly, as the district nurse, and all of her staff will still remain in their current positions. Nurses Direct Connect is just an added layer of a resource. Nurses Direct Connect staff will be fostering a collaborative approach to student health care. Nurses Direct Connect offers on-site testing for COVID, flu, and strep throat, providing comprehensive and efficient healthcare solutions tailored to the needs of the school community. If you'd like to learn more, you can talk to Ashley after tonight's meeting or call us at CEC to arrange a scheduled time at your convenience. Thank you for being here tonight, Ashley. We appreciate it. Exciting news for the MSD of Martinsville. Every school in the MSD was named a Project Lead the Way Distinguished School. Of note, only 20 high schools, 24 middle schools, and only 74 elementary schools in the state of Indiana received distinguished status. This recognition demonstrates the MSD of Martinsville's commitment to quality, evidence-based STEM instruction. A Well Wednesdays update. Last week, the Indiana Department of Education approved the MSD of Martinsville's initial flexibility waiver application. which requested the opportunity to continue to provide professional learning community work time for teachers, better known to us as Well Wednesdays. Specific data about the district's goals, scores, and benchmarks will be forwarded to the school board to review prior to the June meeting, when the flexibility waiver will be included on the agenda for approval. To obtain a flexibility waiver, schools must submit an application that includes specific goals, outcomes, and benchmarks. The IDOE indicated that granting the waiver will likely improve student performance and outcomes, offer the schools to improve the efficiency of school operations, promote innovative educational approaches to student learning, and/or advance the mission or purpose of the schools. Last year, we were one of 22 Indiana schools who were approved. Textbook adoption. Staff, parents, and the community are encouraged to be actively involved with the textbook adoption process this year. The MSD of Martinsville is now requesting and reviewing materials for the upcoming 6th grade science curriculum. The district's Project Lead the Way modules fulfill many science standards, so the adopted curricular materials will provide a supplement to meet the remaining requirements. Parents and community members can review the materials from publishers under consideration online via the online access information provided, or all parents and community members can view those materials at their convenience here at Central Office, 389 East Jackson Street, during normal business hours or by appointment after business hour time. We look forward to your participation in this endeavor. Pre-K openings, the MSD of Martinsville, partnering with On My Way Pre-K, still has available pre-K slots at every elementary for next year. Free tuition and reduced rate scholarships are available to all of the 7 elementary preschool programs. Every family will be able to apply for a free tuition scholarship. Parents can call Central Education Center for enrollment information. Shout outs, we've got special end of the year thank yous that go out to all staff members in the MSD of Martinsville, teachers, instructional aides, office workers, food service, maintenance staff, transportation staff, administrators who serve in our school community every day. Thank you. We are looking forward to having you back on staff next year. Also, shout out to the John R. Wooden Middle School 7th and 8th graders who earned all A's this school year. We celebrated them at a breakfast earlier this week. Junior and senior students and their parents get a shout out for having an outstanding prom, post-prom, where everyone enjoyed. Also, a special shout out to the graduating class of 2024. Congratulations. Thank you for attending this evening.
Before we move on to the next items for the policy review here on the first read, I wanted to make a special comment for the board with Ashley and the nurse practitioner services she provides. We've already had students who have gone down to the clinic who would normally have their parent come and get them and take them to a doctor visit, who have been able to use this service. The parent doesn't have to leave work, the student's taken care of, and then they go back to the classroom unless they have to be sent home. So I think it's just an invaluable service to offer to our families, working parents, to be able to take advantage of this and try to get as many students back into the classroom as possible while also taking care of their health care needs. I think it's just a great thing that the board approved just a short time ago, and we're already seeing positive benefits from it. So Ashley, thank you for your efforts here with us. Ms. Dilly, thank you for leading that charge to get this done. So appreciate both of you there. The last thing I wanted to mention, the Project Lead the Way Distinguished District Award as well. There's only one, we're one of 5 districts in the state of Indiana to receive it. One of 5. Nationally, we're one of 17. So that really sets us apart there. And I had one of our colleagues ask about the Well Wednesday, the collaboration, and we talk about the goals. The collaboration that was able to take place over the last year with vertical alignment, with our teams, different groups, the project Lead the Way, it was made possible by that collaboration effort. So that has been invaluable to the staff to be able to collaborate and, train themselves with our train-the-trainer experts. We have experts in our district who have been trained, and they're doing the training. And that has been so beneficial. So I think that's one reason we were able to receive this distinguished recognition. So we're really, really proud of that. Okay, so now I'll move on. No vote required on the first read here. This item 2 through 17. If there are any that you want to take a look at or have us take a look at before the next meeting, let us know. And so no action taken on it at this time. Any comments that you might have at this point? Okay. Old business, I do not have any old business, so we'll be really quick here tonight. And so action items moving forward, second read. We have second read, this is items 1 through 20. Are there any questions that you might have? I recommend approval of policies numbered 1 through 20 that's on your agenda currently. I'll turn it back to you, Mr. President.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve the policies 1 through 20?
I'll make a motion, we approve 1 through 20.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve policies 1 through 20. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Number 21 is approval of art, music, and science enrichment materials for the upcoming year. I recommend approval.
Do I have a motion to approve the art, music, and science enrichment materials?
I'll make a motion to approve the art, music, and science enrichment materials.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion? All those in favor signify for the art, music, and science enrichment materials, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Motion carried.
The next one is the Education Readiness Grant 2324. This is the Indiana Commission for Higher Education. It's a grant to expand computer science at Martinsville High School. You can see our focus on the last couple of years has been on the science of reading and on computer science, robotics, STEM activities in the district. And this goes hand in glove with that. I recommend approval.
Do I have a motion to approve the Education Readiness Grant for 2023-2024?
I'll make a motion. You can second if
Okay.
you want, Heather. I'll make a motion. We approve the 2024 education. Or I'm at the different number. Sorry. You better go, Heather. Then I'll second you. I make a motion. We approve the Education Readiness Grant for 23-24.
And I will second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the Education Readiness Grant for 2023-2024. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving the Education Readiness Grant for 2023-24 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay, the next one is, I'll go ahead and say this for you, Mr. Jackson, 2024 Education Foundation Grants. We had 11 grants submitted, 4 fully funded, 6 partially funded, and the total amount of $8,395.88. So I recommend approval.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to approve the 2024 Education Foundation Grants. Are there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving the 2024 Education Foundation Grants signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Item number 24 is the Act Zero contract. This assists the district with our liability insurance protection that we need because of the ransomware that we have to do now for our cybersecurity. It's not the same world we had whenever we started out with the internet a few years ago. I say a few years ago because it seems like that for me. But this is something that is imperative for us to be able to protect our system, our financial programs, so we can protect against hackers from either in the United States or Russia or some other areas that prey upon vulnerable institutions. So we do not want to be one of those, so I recommend approval of the Act Zero contract.
Do I have a motion to approve the Act Zero contract?
I'll make a motion to approve the Act Zero contract.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the Act Zero contract. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving the Act Zero contract signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Same sign. Motion carried.
Next one, item 25, Operation Roundup Grant, $2,328 from the South Central REMC. That's a grant to purchase AEDs here in the district. We keep expanding that. Ms. Dilly, thank you for leading that charge. I recommend approval.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the Operation Roundup grant?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the Operation Roundup grant for $2,328. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Before we go on to item 26, I just mentioned the AEDs, and we thanked Ashley and we thanked Laura here this evening. We had Nurses Appreciation Week last week. We had a great day just Wednesday to celebrate and have a nice, I know, a nice surprise for a few. But I want to tell you that I would put our nursing crew up against any in the state of Indiana, any district. Miss Dilly she's raised the bar. We have licensed, certified, we've got them at a very, very high level. They are fantastic. And I just wanted to publicly thank them and tell Ms. Dilly, keep the charge going, keep the train rolling, as Mr. Bell always says. Keep the train rolling, going in the right direction, doing a great job. We're really proud of what you're able to do for our students and staff, so thank you.
Eric, is there one of these in each school, the AED devices? Where do you have those? Every school's got one?
Yes.
And then how
yes.
many people are trained on them?
We get everybody trained as we move forward, and that's part of the new staff training as well. And I'm trying to remember if it's every 3 years now for that. But two, okay, that's my memory over here just told me that it's 2 years. And we've expanded that, the opportunities, because if you recall, back in the regionals,
I was gonna say, there was
we had an AED used. Mr. Cutriff's not here. Mr. Poff, the trainer, is not here, but they saved a gentleman's life because of an AED in the high school gym at that time.
Yeah, they're amazing devices.
Yes.
I've never seen one work, and it's amazing. Walks you through it. It's one of the simplest tools. You got to have them on hand.
Yes. So I'm really proud of the accessibility. We are expanding I think it's a great thing. So Ms. Dilly, keep going on that. We'll try to get them everywhere we possibly can because saving one life is worth it. So I appreciate that very much. Thank you for that question. Number 26, permission to award food and non-food bids as accepted by the Central Indiana Education Service Center for the school year 24-25. Mr. Bodell does a fantastic job with that. I recommend approval of this permission.
Okay, do I have a motion for permission to award the food and non-food bids as accepted by the Central Indiana Education Service Center for the school year 2024-2025?
I'll make a motion, Matt, to give permission to award the food and non-food bids as accepted by the CIESC.
have a motion?
I'll second.
And a second. Is there any discussion or comments? Okay. We have a motion and a second to approve, for permission to award the food and non-food bids as accepted by the Central Indiana Education Service Center for the school year 2024-2025. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay, we're going to go into donations, but Mr. Myers is here from technology. He's the one that spearheaded the effort on Act Zero and getting that for us and making sure that we protect our system. So Will, publicly, thank you for doing that. Appreciate it very, very much. Yeah. Okay, donations, we'll go ahead and list them individually, but vote on them as one block like we normally do. Donation from First Insurance Group to Martinsville High School staff, $500. Donation from IU Prevention Insights to Bell Intermediate, $500. Donation from Pamela and James Asher to Martinsville High School Chamber Orchestra, $500. Donation from Martinsville Noon Lions to Martinsville High School Decathlon, $500. Donation from Delta Theta Tau to the Martinsville High School Decathlon, $500. Donation from Morgan County Sertoma Club to Martinsville High School Decathlon, $500. Donation from Kiwanis Club to Martinsville High School Decathlon, $600. Donation from New Start Home Realty to MHS Decathlon, $750. Donation from Neal and Summers to Martinsville High School Chamber Orchestra, $1,500. Donation from American Legion Post 230 to Martinsville High School Decathlon, $2,880. And donation from First Baptist Church and Circle of Peace Group to MSD Family Services in the amount of $3,500. The generosity continues to overwhelm us. We appreciate the support from our community. I recommend approval of all these wonderful donations.
Do I have a motion to approve the donations?
I'll make a motion, Matt, to approve the donations as placed before us.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. One comment I'd like to make, it's just amazing, all the money that's given out. And I was very impressed with the money that the Circle of Peace is going for family services to help those families in need in our school
Absolutely.
community.
Yeah.
Do I have any discussion or any other comments?
Absolutely agree, Matt, and with Eric as well. We have a wonderful community, and they're always very giving, and it's just never ceases to amaze me, so thank you. Thank you for these donations.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the donations. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next on our agenda, we have the public comments and announcements. Courtney, do we have anybody to speak? Okay. Now, and if a visitor that wishes to speak may do so at the discretion of the president. The visitor will be required to state his or her full name and will be given the opportunity to speak not to exceed 3 minutes per person. In an effort to fairly adhere to the 3-minute guideline for all speakers, we'll present a timer on the interactive panels. Board members will listen to the speaker, will not engage in back and forth conversations. Board feedback or answers to questions will be provided before the next board meeting or at the beginning of the next board meeting. At the conclusion of 3 minutes, speakers will be asked to return to their seats. It shall not be permissible to orally present or discuss complaints against individual employees of the MSD of Martinsville at any Board of Trustees meeting. Such charges or complaints shall be presented to the Board of Trustees in writing and shall be signed by the person making the charge or complaint. Boisterous conduct shall not be permitted at any meeting of the Board of Trustees, nor will any defamatory or abusive remarks be tolerated. We appreciate everyone's civility in maintaining a business order as it has been the practice at school board meetings. Mr. Pond?
Thank you, sir. Yeah, my name is Daniel Pond. I am an educator. 911, there's a house burning. Martinsville police officers are first to arrive. 2 officers attempt to save a wheelchair-bound man engulfed in smoke because other first responders have not yet made the scene. One of the officers, my son Jared Pond, was able to remove and save this man from the burning building while risking his own life. I am proud of my family and their service to this community. They have always managed to stretch themselves out for the sake of others. Not knowing how has never stopped us before. We learn as we go, and we trust God for the increase. America is full of heroes that have stretched themselves out to establish this one nation under God. We are not an accident. We, the people, have a divine purpose to be a city on a hill to the nations. In 1832, Noah Webster, founding father of American scholarship, education, and our first dictionary, said, "The religion which has introduced civil liberty is the religion of Christ and his apostles, which enjoins humility, piety, and benevolence, which acknowledges in every person a brother or a sister and a citizen with equal rights. This is genuine Christianity, and to this we owe our free constitutions of government. Education is useless without the Bible. Moral principles and precepts contained in the scriptures ought to form the basis of all our civil constitutions and laws. All the miseries and evils which men suffer proceed from their despising or neglecting the precepts contained in the Bible. The man who weakens or destroys the authority of that book is an accessory to all the public disorders that society is doomed to suffer." End quote. Our American educational system is burning down. Many are seeking to shred the fabric of this land and use it as kindling. Like it or not, believe it or not, our children are paying a terrible price. Who will save them from the burning building? Who will stretch themselves out for these innocent and tender ones? I encourage true educators, those who have taken a Socratic oath to serve and protect our children, to rise and stand in the gap in our community. We have made it a right and a privilege to receive a public education for the good of us all, not just those who deem themselves elite. The Word of God and the Constitution of America allows for personal choice. Please consider how your choices affect our students and our families. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening. Bill Mitchell, concerned citizen. It's been almost a year, and all of you worked hard to put in your time, but we want to thank the board members for what you've done for the last year for the school system. And so we want to know in the future, because this is an election year, how many board members are going to run for re-election, so we know what we're going to do this fall to get some of the people in the community their thoughts on things. And weekday Wednesday is a bad day for everybody in the community, because if the teachers would move that day to the end of the day, that would help out morality of the state, all the kids in the school system, because they get shortchanged 72 hours a year that are not taught in school. They're just shoved through the classes 15, 20 minutes and they're shoved on. We need to do away with weekday education on Wednesday or move it to the afternoon, because a lot of parents are bringing kids to Brooklyn STEM, huh? Not weekday, but Wednesday, short day Wednesday, weekday educational day, call it that way. It's hard on the kids. It's hard on the school system because the parents have to break up their days to get there, and it's not doing anything good at all. And then the state's come out with this new ruling this year about the third grade. So what's that going to affect the third grade for passing on third grades without being detained over a period of time, but not having them full-time students in the classroom with the teachers teaching, rather than wasting the 2 hours for the teachers to get an education. And then we also have trouble, right now we're having trouble with the bus drivers and pays and education in bus drivers, because nobody's wanting to drive a bus anymore because it's a part-time job. And Dennis Mills and Barb Darby and Lisa Lisa Callahan's coming in here to do a good job on the school transportation problems. But we're having trouble getting drivers to come in. The pay's low, it's not considered a full-time job. So when you have that weekday Wednesday, that takes the bus drivers that have a part-time job for 9 to 3, they lose that time. So they lose money for weekday Wednesday, and besides kids losing time in the classroom. And mental health is going to be one of the best things we have for kids, because parents are going away. They're not having families, mom and dads in the home anymore. They have divorces and living together and stuff like that. And sometimes no guidance at all. School's no place to get guidance. So when they don't have full 6 hours a day or 7 hours a day, they lose the guidance. And after the pandemic, they've lost a lot of things. So let's think about that. And then we're having trouble. The bus drivers are having trouble with the elementary schools, unsafe areas. We need to work with Dennis and Lisa and Darby and the school principals to get the buses away from the cars. Brooklyn has a great system. We worked on that system over a couple of years ago because Brooklyn has 75 cars that come in there every day bringing kids in to Brooklyn STEM. We had them parked on the road and stuff like that. And we worked with the previous director and Mrs. Tier, and we got an idea now where we got all people out of the road, no cars pull in where the buses are unloading at or loading till after all 5 buses are in there every day. So you guys may
Mr.
want to drive.
Mitchell,
Huh?
your time's up.
You may want to drive around school and look some of this stuff. Thank you for the time.
Anyone else? Okay. Mr. Boland for superintendent's comments.
Okay, mark your calendars if you haven't already done so. Graduation next Friday. We'll be honoring this year's class and celebrating their successes. We're looking forward to that. It's going to be 7 o'clock at John R. Wooden Gymnasium at Martinsville High School. Looking forward to that evening. Senior Honor Program is going to be Sunday at 2 p.m. where we give out a lot of scholarships to our seniors, deserving rewards for them. We had the JRW All-A celebration. We've already talked about that with Alex and our valedictorian Crimson speaking there. They did a fantastic job. We want to congratulate those students. The Martinsville High School prom, we had that safely this past weekend, and we had the king and queen. We have Cadence Alexander and Emma Gibson. Congratulations there. And the prince and princess, Brady Eder and Emily Fluke. We'll congratulate them. We have the music department car wash. It's going to take place Saturday from 9 to 2 at Martinsville High School in the parking lot. Great opportunity to support these wonderful musicians and performers. And we want to announce, we put it on social media, that the orchestra and choir received the All Music Award from ISMA. So congratulations to them. Fantastic achievement there. We also have sectional action taking place. I think girls tennis taking place this evening. And then we have softball, baseball, and track. It's going to be taking place next week. I know girls did earlier this week. Boys is taking place tonight. And then we have baseball taking place in another week. So all the sports are wrapping up. We want to wish them all well. Mr. Pond mentioned the police and his son Jared. And this week, obviously, for Police Appreciation, we definitely have a great police department here now. They put themselves out there to protect and serve our school community. We appreciate them, and also the contracts we have with the city police for them to work with us. We've always had a great working relationship. We honor all of the police officers and the other first responders as well. We're blessed. We're blessed in this country. We're blessed in this community, to say the least. We have Memorial Day coming up. Speaking of being blessed, I hope you have an opportunity before we meet again in June to spend a great deal of time and reflection with your family and your loved ones for Memorial Day. It means a lot to everybody I know. Had the opportunity to participate in a ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier for one of our fallen heroes, Ryan Frishy, this past week. And it was an unbelievable ceremony. Ryan gave the ultimate sacrifice in Afghanistan 2007. And just to be there and to witness that was moving, inspirational for me and my wife, Lori. And we can't say enough for the soldiers that stand the front lines for freedom for us as a country to allow us to do what we do here, whether that be at a meeting or at school or at church or wherever we choose to be. They're the ones that stand sentinel for our protections to protect and serve our country, the men and women of the uniform. So we thank them. All the ones that have fallen like Ryan. Memorial Day is obviously a time for reflection on them. And I just couldn't pass up this opportunity not to mention that because he was one of our true heroes. Let's see, I want to see if I missed anything else. Oh, today was a day of caring at John R. Wooden Middle School where they went out into the community. Mr. Jackson, would you like to say anything about what you got to witness them?
I kind of, going off of what you said, Mr. Boland, our cemetery commission goes out throughout the week leading up to Decoration Day or Memorial Day. And South Park, we have many Civil War veterans that are buried out there. And a group of John R. Wooden students were out there caring for their stone markers, cleaning them off, being very respectful with that. So it was impressive, and I shared that with the other cemetery committees throughout the state. So there were several people who were very impressed with our students here and suggested that they might, make that suggestion to their local schools to be involved with that. So thank you to Mr. Cutriff and everyone who was in part of that. It was very encouraging because normally you don't see middle school students want to go into a cemetery and clean off old tombstones. That's not a normal thing all the time, but it was very respectful and very much so appreciated.
Appreciate you sending a picture to us and being out there to support the kids in that effort. And we always want them to know that they need to be part of something bigger than themselves. And I think we do a really good job here in this community. And that's how we get young men like Ryan Frishy and the men and women of uniform. Martinsville, this area, very patriotic community. And that's why they like to send their recruiters here because that's who we are. That's what we do. And we're very appreciative of that, and we're very respectful of that. So that's all I have.
Okay. Any other board comments?
I had a couple quick things if I can. So I was talking to a couple of the bus drivers about the safety piece, and I think that's something that's probably been communicated, and I'm not sure where the communication's been, but just talking with them, now that we have a police department, we should be able to get the police involved, we should be able to get the director and ultimately the drivers involved to say what's working, what's not working, and hopefully we continue to push that, especially with our local PD now. I would think we could fine tune that to where the safety of a kid being loaded or unloaded is something we can achieve. I know we know that, but I think I've heard from multiple drivers about that risk or concern, and I think that's something that continues to focus on.
Just so you know, like this morning, we were at one of the schools with the whole team out there analyzing. This doesn't happen in a vacuum at all. Just so you know, it's an ongoing thing. There are always concerns that come up, and we've made considerable improvement in many areas. We don't have enough officers to be at all the elementaries. There's 7 of them, and we only have 4 officers. So, but we are trying to redefine what we're doing, recalibrate, reset, all that, and analyze. So that's done. Director was out there, the assistant director, the chief of our police. We had a whole team out there to look at one of the buildings and how it's all done. Changes have to be made. We know that, and we will continue to do that.
Yeah,
Continue
and
to do that analysis.
I know you're meeting with the drivers too, and I think that
Yes.
means a lot to them. I know sometimes just making that time to engage the people in the seat. I mean, that's
Yes.
one thing you'll learn is as you empower the people around you, you're going to come up with a better result. And I know you're working on that. I just thought that was important to say because listening to the drivers is critical. Also, one thing I've been kind of digging into a little bit more is just the Chromebook, and we approved the Chromebooks recently. And Eric, I've sent a message to Eric about just less screen time for the kids, and I know that's something you're looking into.
Right.
As you look to try to Google stuff about Chromebook or Google Classroom, it's impossible to find anything negative about it. You got to dig pretty hard. But I know there's a lot of different studies about there, how much screen time is there. The kids today, I always put myself in their shoes to say, what if you put me in front of a screen as a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old or through high school, and just really trying to find what that balance is. You know, there's all sorts of articles of the positives, and there's billions of Chromebooks in the world, or millions of Chromebooks in the world. I get it. But just trying to, you know, as a child, their inactivity, the hyperactivity, less is better. How do we get our hands on education a little bit more to where we don't prop them in front of a monitor? And I know even at work, you see more of it. I get the balance. It's a tool, it's a resource, but really keep pushing to see what we can do to reduce that. I know testing came out recently, and I was talking to my son, and he was, you know, just zombied, you know, looking at the screen all day. And I know there's things you have to do with it. So it's not a attack against them. It's just trying to find that balance of what good looks like and not fall into the trench of we're just going to prop them up in front of monitors. I know that's not the goal, but really questioning how much time they get. And my kids are, you know, going to be freshmen and senior next year, so I know it's limited, and they'll see it in school and they'll see it in the workforce too, but just really trying to limit that as much as possible. And the last thing I've got is just, it was a very unique day. You know, you look at the kids sleeping over there, we're coming into the meeting today, we had kids by the road, you know, trying to get us to honk, and, you know, sunrise this morning was pretty neat. I saw a bald eagle on the way to the meeting today. When you look at, to your point on Memorial Day, and just what we have as a country is just, in my opinion, I think we need more folks stepping up, and I've said that multiple times, but just your family, your faith, and your freedom are the foundations of what we can do to get stronger as a group. And I think that's one thing we continue to knock down some of these barriers, get people out of their comfort zones, get more people involved, even if it's with the curriculum or getting involved in, you know, choosing that type of stuff. Anything you can do to get more involved is better than we were yesterday. And I think if we're going to get better, we're going to have to do things different. Everyone's comfortable. No one wants to make a wave. No one wants to step up and say something negative, but that continues to be what we're here for, especially as we go into Memorial Day. I mean, I just think it's a time to where continue to focus on those fundamentals, do the right things for the right reasons, and good things will happen. But I appreciate the staff. I appreciate what everybody's doing. I mean, I think there's a lot of good things going on. We need to continue to push for that too. So, thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Any other comments?
Yeah, I just want to piggyback onto that and say thank you to all the staff members, whether you're a bus driver or you're a custodian, you're all important. I appreciate what you've done all year. I know the year's about to wrap up, but I know there's a lot sitting in the audience this evening, and some have been here for a long time. Thank you for what you do. You do make a difference, and we do appreciate it. And I hope to see you soon, but I hope you enjoyed the summer as well. And congrats to the class of 2024 that we'll be seeing next Friday. So we'll have the privilege of that, and I do believe that is a privilege. We live in the great United States, and I am proud of that. And we do have a lot of privileges here, and you're right, Eric. It's because of the men and women of the Armed Forces who allow us to do these things, and so I want to appreciate them as well. So, just whether you're here or virtually, thank you for what you do.
Congratulations to all of our graduates. Next weekend's probably one of my favorite weekends to see them walk across the stage, and I know that they are going to be prepared to do whatever it is they want to do and chase their dreams. I've been blessed to witness that 4 times with my own kids who have, I've got one in education, one who just wrapped up his freshman year at IU Dental School, one who graduated IU in 3 years because of the education she got here. And then I have a freshman at IU who's finding his path right now. So I'm just so thankful to this district because this district gave them that foundation and that wonderful start to be successful. So I'm looking forward to seeing the kids next weekend.
Any other comments? Anybody? I just want to say too, thank you for all the staff and everyone for a successful school year. And again, I'm like Heather, I'm looking forward to Friday and Jackie to graduation to culminate the successful year that we've had. And we also want to thank you all for coming this evening. Do I have it?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 We ought to recognize the veterans.
Absolutely.
You guys are all about that freedom. We want to recognize the veterans that done this for us here tonight.
Absolutely.
Are there any veterans here in the room?
Absolutely. Stand up.
There we
Yeah.
go.